can be. Here's a note. Garrett, do you have the note about Texas and this weekend? It's very small, but I'll read it to you. 18th ranked Texas is a 7-point favorite against 4th ranked TCU. It's not a surprise. The most points the Horns have been favored over a top 5 team since 1978 when the FBS and FCS split from what was called Division I. That's hard to imagine. It's hard to imagine that is the first time, because they had that great run under Mac Brown, that there wasn't a top 5 team that they were still favored by a lot. So there's one thing. Also, Steve Sarkisian this week. We haven't beaten a top 5 team here at DK Royal Memorial Stadium since 1999. It's a great opportunity for us to hopefully prepare well, play well for our fans. I'm looking forward to an electric and great intimidating environment. Since 1999, that they haven't beaten a top 5 team at home.
How many top 5 teams are rolling into DKR, though?
Well, there have been some decent there's been some, but not top 5.
Top 5.
They're not going to play Oklahoma there, so that eliminates at least
that's every year
what would be 30 of those opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Kansas State, Nebraska. Now, Nebraska after that, no.
So it's not really that. If you eliminate Oklahoma, then that's like 20 of the 30 opportunities that you're probably thinking of right there.
Yeah, and that's not only hosting somebody that's top 5, beating them at DK.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a lot of little measures to subtract.
That's when the Mac Brown run began. That's when they really started to be unbelievable.
But yeah, even if you go and say A&M's been in the top 5 a few times, never when they played Texas.
No.
By November 25th every year, believe me, they're long gone out of the top 5. So yeah, there's
and I think that's important for their program because of what this says, and obviously that. In the past, the loss to Tech or the loss to Oklahoma State might have sent them into a spiral, and that has not been the case after they won their last game. Again, that's about the time you start buying them is about the time that you go bankrupt, right? Paxton and C. Jenkins, those of you who are on the board who are Texas fans, and that's just true. That's not trying to be negative. Now,
no, that's just facts.
Yeah.
That they typically get built up only to fall down. And, that's not their overall history as a program, but that is their recent history. Absolutely it is. And, that's why they've, had stumbles along the way that's kind of kept them in that same area rather than eventually rising and staying up where they would like to be, is because, it gets built up like, oh my gosh, they're back. And then boom, reality sets in and they tumble down a little bit more to the mean. So, tomorrow is a great opportunity for them. I think a lot of people have Texas picked. They're favored by a touchdown, as you mentioned, which is, I think pretty significant that's how it's being viewed. I mean, all due respect to Texas, but golly, unbeaten TCU top 5, and they're walking into your place. I get you have the advantage there about touchdown favorites. So I was very surprised to see that earlier this week. And, we'll see. It's a huge game. Big time promotions for this one, College game day, all that jazz, big win last week to really build this thing up and have the opportunity to host game day and do all of that. So, it's going to be a big one tomorrow in Austin.
Alabama was like number 1 in the country, but they didn't win the game. We're not saying they haven't hosted a game at DK Royal Memorial Stadium. We're saying they haven't beaten a top 5 team at DK Royal Memorial Stadium. And believe me, they won games at home against Nebraska back before that. And they used to, they handled the Huskers. They also have won other games, but they haven't won a game against a top 5 team. Alabama was 1 or number 2, whatever it was, in week number 2, but week 2, C. Jenkins 3-13, but they didn't win that game. So that's what he's talking about, beating. From Daniel, the DKR crowd has been rowdy as hell lately. See you there. Hook 'em. So there's that from you. And also from Stephen Rose, this will be an exciting week of college football as well. And Quirte, not many top 5 teams play at DKR. OU, if they have played there, of course, as Craig mentioned, would have been top 5 a lot of times since those 30 years that we're talking about.
Think about how many Big 12 teams have been top 5 that aren't Oklahoma or Texas. They have to really grind to get Baylor's had some really good teams and hardly sniffed the top 5.
Yeah, Nebraska,
really good teams.
Nebraska, but again, this is before that 99 timeline, although they were number 1 in the country in 2001.
Yeah. But,
until they.
Kansas has never been.
Kansas State probably has
Really?
maybe been in that mix a little
Like,
bit.
even
But
the-
you're right, yeah.
But even the 08 year with Kansas, when they went to the Orange Bowl, were they in the top 5?
07. It was 08,
07, yeah. So even the year that they went to the Orange Bowl, were they in the top 5? No.
Tech wasn't the year that they had the Crabtree touchdown. That was in Lubbock. Tech was in
When they lost, and it was in Lubbock,
Yeah.
so it has nothing to do. Yeah, I know what you're saying, though. That was their best team, and they weren't ever. But yeah, I mean, the stat's the stat. It is what it is. We don't need to explain it further. But yeah, they haven't done it since, 99, and tomorrow they've got a chance to do it. And if they do, then they'll probably end up in the top 10 of the CFP somehow or another, because we know how that kind of goes. And hey, given their schedule and who they've lost to, I mean, there would be no arguing that they're the top 3 loss team in the country, and they would be feeling great about life, and I think rightfully so, because given how the feelings were, is the kind of roller coaster that it's been, feelings coming out of that Oklahoma State game, for example, and just kind of the Quinn Ewers getting hurt along the way, all the just kind of up and downs that there have been. I mean, to find themselves 2 weeks to go, huge top 5 win at home, beating an unbeaten, and positioning yourself to basically have to fall on your face to not make the Big 12 title game, that would be huge for them and huge for Sark and huge for everything that they're trying to do there. So, yeah, again, it's a huge game tomorrow in Austin.
All right, I wrote this on the